All right, hey YouTube, how we doing today, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful go of it. Josh Johnson here. We are about to talk about the threat of some snow and ice across parts of the Deep South for the weekend of January 24th through 26th. The European data is in, the American data is in, most of the ensemble data from the morning run in now, and I've had a chance to go over a lot of that, so this will be a pretty in-depth look and conversation at exactly what's going on with this whole storm setup. And the way I'll do this, there's really two scenarios here. One of them is becoming more likely. One of them is becoming less likely. I'll walk you through the more likely of the two outcomes, and then we'll get into model agreement and sort of some things like that. But the message you need to take away from this is, if you live in the southern half of Alabama, the newest data suggests a lot of cold rain and the potential for some icing in a few spots, primarily east of Montgomery. There is still a lot of play in that forecast. There's still a lot of potential for change, but that's what we see right now in the data. If you live in the northern half of Alabama, central northern Mississippi, anywhere in Tennessee, central and northern Georgia, this is going to be an extremely high impact weather event with the potential for millions of power outages and the potential for extremely heavy accumulations of both ice and snow. Again, that is if you live essentially north of Birmingham in the state of Alabama. So with no further ado, let's get straight into the cold hard facts here if you want to. This is the latest run of the European computer model. We'll start it today. We're high and dry, no weather issues, but watch what happens here. We'll fast forward. First thing I want to draw your attention to, see this out here, this big circle off the southwest coast of the United States. That is going to be critical in terms of what happens. How we handle that southern stream energy will determine what sort of surface low develops and how much warm air comes up into central Alabama. So if you're watching this from a central Alabama perspective, exactly how that southwestern energy is handled is critical in this. The European is fairly progressive with it, eventually kicks it on out, and you get a pretty stout surface low to develop down here in the Gulf of America, the artist formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico. You get that to happen Saturday afternoon. Now, what that will do is the initial wave of precipitation would be some mixture of sleet and freezing rain, essentially north of Interstate 59 with a cold rain south of there. But watch what happens here. Because you get warm air in the low, just above the ground, surging northward as that Gulf low cranks up, you end up changing a lot of this over to rain across a big chunk of Alabama in the middle of this. Again, this is all Saturday afternoon. This is Sunday morning. And then you would have to watch the back end of this. Let me do this too. I'll change the view here on you. Let's pop in for a closer look, shall we? This will probably be a little easier to see and read and understand. We'll fast forward. Again, you get a surface low that cranks up right down here. See it? You can see this 1014 closed isobar. Freezing rain ongoing across the Mississippi Delta and most of the state of Alabama north of Interstate 20. So if you're watching this in the southern, say, two-thirds of the state, anywhere south of Birmingham, a couple of windows you'll need to watch. Saturday night into Sunday morning, you start to get a little wedge of colder air. This is 3 o'clock Sunday morning, and we have now freezing rain falling across parts of Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Shelby, and Jefferson counties, and points north from there. Huge ice storm in progress for most of North Georgia, cold soaking rain for the southern half of Alabama. But those eastern counties would be in play here Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now the sun comes up Sunday and temperatures go up into the low 30s. This is noon Sunday, and you'll notice we've got that surface low now cranking up over southeast Alabama. This would be a textbook snow setup for Mississippi, northwest Alabama, and Tennessee, with a cold soaking rain falling across a big chunk of Alabama. You would still have winter weather issues up in the northwestern sections of Alabama and across most of North Georgia. Again, this is the 12Z run of the European computer model, but this actually has really good ensemble support. The ensemble is the choir of weather models. What I'm showing you right now is one solo singer. This is a good singer. She might be our best one. But the ensembles is a choir. It's a chorus. Everyone coming together singing, and it sort of smooths out some of these run-to-run flip-flops that we see in these individual pieces of data. So this all ends Sunday night in the European telling of this. Now, I'll show you while we're in here the European ensemble, and we'll just do the raw snowfall maps. Now, understand when you see this, there are a lot of asterisks attached to these numbers. Sleet and freezing rain would cut down on these numbers. What we're looking for here is the general idea, and you see in the data there, I'll go full screen with this, pretty heavy snow from Memphis to Chattanooga and points north, accumulating snow 3 to 5 inches down into the Tennessee Valley, and then back down into central Alabama, there's really nothing. Now, remember, this does not account for freezing rain, though, which if you live in the southern half of Alabama, my suspicion is the primary concern for us is going to be a brief window of freezing rain Saturday night to the Sunday morning, northeast of Montgomery, closer to the Georgia line up I-85. And then we would need to watch on the backside of this as colder air comes in, what happens there. So the European ensembles, the Canadian ensembles, all in reasonably good agreement on this scenario. So confidence is in the medium range at this point. Remember, though, today's just Tuesday. We've still got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is 4 days away. Guys, there are winter storm forecasts in Alabama that change 4 hours before it starts. We're talking 4 days. This can and will change. All model data is wrong, but some of it is useful. Some of it is very useful. So when you look at models, you have to understand what we look for trends. We don't look at an individual piece of data and say, oh, there will be 8.1 inches of snow. That's not how this works. And anyone who does that, you need to find a different source of weather info. What we look at here are trends. We look at the ensembles. We look at pattern recognition. We look at all of that. So that is I would say there's a 60% chance that the idea I've laid out here is correct. Let's look at the American long-range computer model, because I'll tell you just straight out of the gate here, it is a different story. So what it does, interestingly, it keeps a lot of that energy that I showed you. Remember that little circle back off the southwest coast of the United States? I'm talking off the California coast. It holds that back, which allows the Arctic front to come farther south. There's more cold air in place at the beginning, and then it lingers more precipitation later into Sunday and Sunday night, which would be a far more problematic solution. Let me show you how this plays out here. Again, this is the American long-range computer model. It's called the GFS, so we'll skip ahead here. This is Friday evening. Snow is breaking out across North Mississippi, Arkansas, with freezing rain across northern Louisiana, East Texas, and southern Arkansas. But again, because there's not a strong surface low-pressure reflection down here, there really is never a big, strong punch of warm air up into this. What does that mean? It means this starts as freezing rain Saturday, Clark, Wilcox, Marengo, Dallas, Autauga. You get a little punch of warmer air, but you'll notice for a lot of East Alabama, this is an ice storm throughout. And then because that energy is hanging back Sunday, colder air comes in, and look, a lot of pink here. This would be a lot of freezing rain, a lot of sleet, and then a punch of snow on the very end of this. I mean, the American model still has it snowing as of Monday night. Let me say up front, I don't think this is right. I think that it's handling that energy. It's just lingering it too long back there. It is a plausible idea, though. So we can't just toss it away. We can tell you that I think it's 60-40 towards the European idea. And look, if it still shows this tonight, that will become 70-30. And if it still shows this tomorrow, this becomes 80-20 towards that European idea. So it is almost never as simple as, it's just not really ever a hard yes or no answer. This is a lot more, we get new data, we adjust the forecast. We get new data, we adjust the forecast. If you're looking for bold, authoritative, it's going to snow 8.1 inches, that's not how this science works. People who are telling you that, they're selling you a false bill of goods. The reality is right now, no one knows what's going to happen. No computer, no meteorologist, no groundhog, no farmer's almanac, none of them know. And if they're telling you they do, they're lying. They're full of BS, which is an acronym that means barometric shenanigans. You may have heard it mean something else, but probably not. So those are the two main ideas here. So what do you need to do with all this information? Well, if you live anywhere in Alabama, north of Interstate 20, you need to be preparing now for the possibility of a heavy accumulation of ice and or snow that could cause disruptions to travel, perhaps for multiple days, and disruptions to your electrical service for multiple days. Again, that's anywhere north of Interstate 20 in Alabama, north of Interstate 20 in Mississippi, most of Georgia, right? If you live in south of I-20 in Alabama, so the southern 2/3 or so of Alabama, I would take a watch and wait approach right now. The best data we have suggests for the southern 2/3 of the state, a lot of what falls is going to initially be rain. There could be some freezing rain issues in some of the eastern counties. I'm talking Coosa, Talladega, Clay, Calhoun, Cleburne, Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, maybe even Elmore-Macon, Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then again Sunday night into Monday morning. But a lot of what falls over the rest of the southern 2/3 of Alabama would be a cold rain. It is a very close call, though, and you need to check back for more information as the week unfolds. So in Alabama, north of I-20, you need to start preparing. South of I-20, watch, wait, and see, right? If you live in the eastern sections of the state, south of I-20, north of I-85, that would be an area that I would be paying attention closely and maybe even start preparing there too, right? So it's not one size fits all, but again, north of I-20, prepare now. South of I-20 in East Alabama, you need to really be watching and waiting and maybe start a few preparations. Anywhere else south of I-20 that's not East Alabama, I think watch, wait, and see. For Montgomery, Prattville, Millbrook, Pike Road, Wetumpka, Selma, Demopolis, Camden, Greenville, Evergreen, Andalusia, Troy, Brundage, Union Springs, Eufaula, Dothan, Henry County, Abbeville, Elba and Enterprise and Ozark. Odds right now favor cold rain. You need to check back for updates. East Alabama, there is a window where this could get dicey. I'm talking Auburn, Opelika, Tuskegee, Alex City, Dadeville, Lafayette, Ashland, Lineville, Talladega, Heflin. Anywhere north of there in Alabama, north of I-20, so Jacksonville, Piedmont, Gadsden, Springville, Aniana, Coleman, Fayette, Muscle Shoals, Red Bay, Russellville, Huntsville, Decatur, Coleman, Fort Payne, Scottsboro, Albertville, Hoax Bluff, Spring Garden, Center. This is going to be a big deal with a lot of ice and a lot of snow. So that's the world as we see it right now. Understand there can and likely will be changes to this, but that is the overview of where the forecast stands as of the morning run of computers. Now, we will get another run in the next couple of hours. That's called the 18Z run because it initializes at 18Z, which is noon local Central Standard Time. That data will trickle out between 3:30 and 6. So I'll do another update on the WSFA family of apps at 5:30. So it's imperative that you check that out. Again, that will be on the WSFA First Alert Weather app, or you can watch it on your connected TV. Just search for WSFA Weather wherever you get apps for your TV. Download it. That's 5:30 this evening. Then we'll do another one tonight at 9:30 that probably is on Facebook and YouTube. So that's the strategy with this whole thing as far as keeping you updated. Watch the Facebook page for updates. Just search Josh Johnson WSFA on Facebook. I'm at Josh Johnson Weather on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I post updates there all day and all night as well. So we'll wind this thing down for now. I'm going to dive back into analyzing more data, and we will chat again this evening at 5:30. Hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Be well.